Hello everyone and welcome to Rainbow Six Reinforcements, the show where PCGamesN aims down the sight at all the changes that are coming to Rainbow Six. Joined by Jordan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Of course you're good, because we've seen plenty of stuff that's coming out of the ARG for Outbreak, which is the upcoming interesting event that Rainbow are doing, right? So we're knowing all about enemies, we're knowing about loot boxes, we're knowing about free skins, so we're going to start looking over that.
Okay, so the first thing is, what is Outbreak, right?
Yep. We want to know, exactly. Tell me, Jordan, what is outbreaking and how do we do things about it?
So, what is... I hadn't thought about it that way. So, 4-week co-op event, think of it a bit like Rainbow Six meets Left 4 Dead. We've kind of thought for a while it would be zombies because Outbreak, it kind of suggests all that. But it's more like a parasite kind of infection-y thing. But from what we've seen, it definitely looks like...
Just semantics, right? This is 28 Days Later meets Romero, right? Yeah. There's no real difference between them.
And it's going to run for 4 weeks. It'll launch alongside Operation Chimera, which should be roughly, or thereabouts, the 18th of Feb. So we'll have it for the first sort of month of the new season. It'll close. Maybe they'll do something with it at a later date, but we're not sure at the moment.
So we know this kind of information is coming out of like this ARG, right? This alternate reality game, which we're kind of like finding things on the Rainbow Six Leaks website, which is something that Ubisoft themselves make. We're unlocking passcodes, we're finding new information. So explain, what have we found so far? Okay,
so there have been 3 files in the ARG. Each one has launched. They've done a map update, like usually with TTS or in a live build, and it's sort of had a few hidden like codes or messages hidden around one of the maps. So we've had Plain, we've had Oregon, and we've had the most recent one, Dostoevsky, Cafe, as you might know it. And all of these files, it's taken a while for people to put all the clues together, but when they get it, they get a password which unlocks sort of like it's sort of an alternate story around Outbreak. And for now they've been quite vague. We found out about where it's set, which is a town called Truth or Consequences in New Mexico.
A real town, for anybody that doesn't know, named after a game show.
Which is quite weird. We've also found out that there's sort of these massive like shards that have hit the town, which it turns out are now the infection. But the third one's given us most details, and also details and proper actual looks at what the enemies look like. So we've actually there are 2 images in it, as well as some like filler stuff, some kind of like background atmosphere stuff. And the 2 images, one is most interesting because it shows off the parasite ecosystem. So we're just going to run through quickly what we see, or like we'll have a still of it as well, but the enemies that we think will be in there. So to start us off, there looks like there's going to be like a spiked and a non-spiked version of just like a kind of standard zombie, a shuffling kind of...
Yeah, your usual cannon fodder, right?
Yeah, a human, not very human in behaviour. Second, we'll have like a hedgehog creature, which I think there's something similar in Left 4 Dead. Runs around on all 4s, has spikes all over its back. Maybe it shoots the spikes, maybe it just means it's tougher to attack. Hard to say at the moment. Like, there's no kind of precedent set for this in Rainbow Six, so who knows? After that, there's kind of like Dead Space's...
the necromorphs, right? The big scissory guys going around with... Yeah, they don't look pleasant to fight, right?
No, not at all. And also, I mean, I'm curious to know if we'll have to also delimb them one by one, but... yeah, they look pretty nasty. After that, there's like it looks like a caster.
Sure.
Almost. There's another image of her somewhere in the file. But yeah, it seems like it'll be like a kind of a caster, long range kind of enemy. And then finally, there is what I can only guess is Left 4 Dead 2's Charger. A huge armoured thing.
Yeah, so it's like that, or maybe a tank, right? It's going to be one of the bigger enemies. And like you say, there does seem to be analogues to Left 4 Dead in the same way that like the Warhammer Vermintide games all have analogues to Left 4 Dead sort of creatures. So, normal, infected, a bunch, sort of like a bunch of special kind of creatures. So it does seem that there's going to be an interesting amount of combat variety, let's say. Yeah,
there'll also be probably like a spiked nest or something. It looks like the standard enemies turn into nests, which then spawn more advanced ones. The other thing this ARG has given us is like a proper hint about what the infection itself is, which is sort of a genetic mutation, and it seems there is no cure, and the only containment is to blow the whole thing up or send in 2 operators.
Of course, two operators, well known to work well. You know, if they can get an ace,
Yep.
why can't they take out an infection?
Exactly.
So now with all of this kind of cool stuff that's going on, you'd expect people would be, I can see why people wouldn't necessarily be on board with it. It's very different for Rainbow, right? It's not that milsim kind of thing that people are after. However, it's not strictly that some people aren't happy about, right? There's a specific loot box that's coming to Outbreak, a very specific loot boxes for only Outbreak with all interesting kind of things in it. That's getting people angry, right?
Yeah, and the reason it's getting people angry is because they are they're very similar to the alpha packs, which are already in the game, but you cannot earn them. They are only paid. And there's a few things they've done with it that I think are positive in terms of the broader loot box controversy thing. So there's no dupes. So if there are 50 cosmetic items in the packs, if you buy 50 packs, you'll get all 50 items. So there's no duplicates. But there is no way to buy them separately. The packs cost around 300 R6 credits, which I think is about £2,
right?
Like $3 kind of mark, which is quite a lot of money for a single cosmetic.
And you only get one cosmetic in it. It's like the alpha packs; it is a single card, right?
Yeah. Oh, we assume so at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's some extra items on the side that you can earn generally. They're not in the loot boxes, so there'll be a few cosmetics like on the challenge. Every week you get challenges, you can unlock like one charm or something. You'll get 4 packs just for logging in during the event, and people who buy Advanced Edition, Complete Edition or Gold Edition, which will they're live I think after the Invitational or when the event goes live. If you buy those during the event, you'll get 10 extra Outbreak packs as well.
Okay.
People are annoyed because if you, of course, already own the game,
if
you just bought a Year 3 pass, you don't get anything. There's a lot of veteran players getting annoyed because they want free stuff, basically.
Of course, yeah. Well, you would do have to put in that amount of service in. They give free stuff to people that are in the army, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know. But
if I've done my service.
Yeah, the army and playing a video game, a little bit different. But yeah, so that's basically the controversy.
And you say that's the controversy, Jordan, but that's not the end of it, right? Ubisoft have been making some changes to the way that you even buy the game, and that's had people sort of like quite angry as well.
So they've since rolled back, but initially the change was proffered that they were going to get rid of the standard edition, which is it's got the normal economy for operators, so it costs the same amount of renown to get them. It's about like 500 to 1,500. They're going to keep the starter edition, and they're going to introduce a new advanced edition, which isn't very different from the standard edition, but costs a lot more. So that got a lot of people up in arms. Since then, they've rolled back that. But the point is, it looks like they were basically just upping the price, which makes sense for the complete edition because it reflects another year of operators.
Yeah. So you've got, you know, all of the operators that would have come last year would have been involved, and it would have had the season pass right for free as well. So yeah, you are getting a lot more. But for this kind of, to call it the advanced edition, and it was pretty much the normal edition with 10 Outbreak packs in, right? Yeah. So we can understand that. However, this kind of like this whole controversy, Ubisoft have sort of like responded to it, and what's happened there? Okay,
so anyone who logs in between now and March 6th will get a free Ash Sidewinder Elite skin. So Elite skins are worth quite a lot of money, but it's great. Everyone wants free loot and stuff, but it's going to take away from it being Elite.
Everyone's going to be playing Ash, and everyone's going to have this Elite skin, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people have wanted an Elite Ash for a while, and I think that might detract from it a little bit. At the end of the day, it's free Elite. This is only a good thing, really.
Yeah.
The other thing they've done is they've promised they'll keep the standard edition. No price changes at all, so they'll keep the standard edition. I'm not sure what that means for the advanced edition, but if you're concerned about trying to advise someone to get a copy, like a friend to get a copy, that's going to stay in the game, so there's no problem about that. And finally, they have promised to tweak the way the Star Edition works. So they haven't gone into details. They've only said that because the big controversy about the Starter Edition is that it costs so much to unlock a new operator, 12,500 renown. So they'll announce tweaks about that at the 6th Invitational, which will be in February, about halfway through February. Cool. So that's it.
And that's everything from this episode of Rainbow Six Reinforcements. Hopefully you've got something out of it. We've imparted our knowledge to you, and hopefully you're looking forward to seeing what's at the end of this ARG. Not that long till Outbreak. We know it comes with Chimera, which is not that far away, just on the other side of the Invitational, right? But until next time, please like, subscribe, good luck, and have fun.